really feel like I need a hat today. Like, something's not working with my hair. I didn't blow dry it today, so I feel like when I don't blow dry it, it causes a problem. Okay, got my hat. I did the whole red festive thing today, feeling in the Christmas spirit. And yeah, this is gonna be an interesting one because, you know, it's like we're doing this Vlogmas and there's so many topics that I'd want to talk about with Marit or have her talk about. But the truth is we have been quite busy and she is very busy at work, which means we haven't really had the chance to do any videos for you. So what I'm going to do is, based off of my last video, I had an email inquiry from one of our viewers. I would have liked to answer her via email, but then I was thinking, hey, you know, this is really great because I could put all of my answers into video format and this may be helpful for somebody else down the road. And I think it's important for other, you know, women or members of the LGBTQ community to hear stories of people who are older possibly than them and what their career paths have been and how they've ended up there. So let's dive deeper into this. And one of the things that she asked me, she said she's curious how I ended up at each of the firms that I've ended up working at during my career and what drew me to each of them. So one of the firms I worked at out of law school was Deloitte, and I was really drawn to Deloitte, which is a Big Four accounting firm, because they seem to pride themselves on diversity and great work-life balance. It just seemed that out of all the firms that there were, that one spoke to me the most. And so I went to Deloitte. Now, what y'all need to learn about these Big Four accounting firms or any job that you go to in terms of, you know, large-scale employers, your experience may vary from other people's experiences. So the tone that the firm sets as a whole may be there may be one message or one way in which they feel like the culture should be, but your actual experience within your small team, which is a small part of that larger scale of a corporation or culture, your team may not reflect the values of the overall corporation. That's not the word. Values isn't the word I want to use, but let's just put it this way. Okay, so if Deloitte as a whole says we are trying to promote work-life balance, my particular boss at Deloitte wasn't necessarily promoting work-life balance, even though maybe they should have. So my point in this is that my experience from working in a firm could vary greatly from somebody else's experience just due to the team in which they worked with, because the people that you work with are such a big influence on the joy you derive each day from your job or your career or what you're doing. And that's what you're going to learn in life. It's the people that you work around that are such a major force in your work-life happiness. I ended up at Deloitte. I didn't have the greatest experience in the small group that I ended up in, and after a year or so there, it just wasn't the right fit for me. So I decided to pursue some other stuff. When I was in law school, I had worked within the sales tax realm and I really liked it. And I ended up in tax just because, yeah, it was like, I don't know, one of the things that, I don't know, it just seemed the most approachable for me in law school. I worked at the Massachusetts Department of Revenue for like an internship for a few months, and I really liked researching. I knew that, so I think that generally, so that's where I ended up in the tax sphere, and so the firms. So once I got on the path of sales tax, I then ended up finding this software company that was looking for attorneys who wanted to work within the sales tax field, and I had had some tax experience, and apparently this company liked me, and I was hired there. I worked at that company for about 10 years, and then the forces of the whole private equity group type of situation took over. If you're not familiar with it, a lot of companies today are being bought out by private equity firms, and when those firms or groups purchase the company, they make a lot of changes, and they don't all happen at once. They happen slowly, but there will be changes nonetheless. And so I ended up in the position where I had relocated to New Jersey, and my company decided that they weren't were no longer going to have any kind of remote employees, which meant I needed to either move back to Massachusetts, which I wasn't going to do. We had just had the girls, we had just moved to New Jersey, wasn't going to happen. So I decided to pursue another job. Anyway, in which case I landed up back at Deloitte again. So I said, let me give Deloitte another try. I was going into doing transactional tax, indirect tax within the Big Four. And so went to Deloitte again. And you know what? My team, it just didn't work out. Just didn't work out. And, you know, I wanted it to so badly, but it just wasn't the right group for me. And that's just, somehow I put it nicely that way. And yeah, I mean, you just have to, and so the key with that is you need to know what's right for you and what's not right for you. And then, you know, as you're older, you'll learn that. When you're younger, you don't really know. Just take away from that. And I know this is all over the place, but hopefully it's helpful for somebody, is that, you know, if something doesn't feel right, your gut eventually will tell you this is not right. And that's the difference of being uncomfortable in something, because it's important to be uncomfortable. Sometimes you're new to something, you don't know how to do it, you feel uncomfortable. That's a good uncomfortable feeling, right? You're learning something, but uncomfortable to the point where you're like, no, yeah, it's whatever, didn't work. I feel like I'm starting to babble, so this is definitely going to get edited. After I decided that wasn't for me, I looked again. Tried to find a new position, and I did find a great position at another sales and use tax software company. It was a small company that turned into a really, really large company because, again, of changes. And, you know, things are really good because of the people I work with. I really like the team that we've been able to build up, and it's great. I really enjoy the people I work with. Work-life balance is good. Type of work I'm doing, I really enjoy. I'm helping small businesses. I'm helping medium-sized businesses. I'm helping people with their sales taxes, and couldn't be happier in doing so. And yeah, so let me make like sense of this, because I know this is just, I feel like I'm all over the place here, almost to the point where I want to stop this camera and start again. But I'm not going to do that. How did you know that you wanted to go to law school? I'll tell you the truth. I just didn't know what I wanted to do. And that's a really scary position to be in. I gone to college. Everybody said, you know, you go to law school, you do anything with a law degree. And that's what I basically spit back. I said, oh, I can do anything with a law degree. You know, it's not a bad thing to have. Sure, let me just spend all this money and go get a law degree. I was scared shitless. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I just seemed like it sounded like a great idea. I can't go wrong with it. And I really don't think that's a great way for anybody to approach going to school. I think a lot of people do approach it that way, but let's like break it down in the sense of how expensive it is to go to school. And when you're making that commitment to, you know, pay, let's say $150,000, $200,000 to go to a 3-year program for a law degree, I mean, you better have a decent idea that that's a road you want to travel down, because what happens to a lot of people is, you know, you could go to law school and then after that decide, wait a second, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to do this, and I wish I had gotten my master's in this or pursued this, and then you really get sort of strapped into loans, paying back your loans, because it's not cheap, and you will eventually have to pay back these loans. That's the other thing. Like, you take, it's so easy to take loans out for college, or, you know, get a master's or go to this program or that program. They make it really easy to take the money out. And it's sad because I don't think a lot of young folks realize, you know, hey, you got to pay this back, and you're not guaranteed a job, and you're not guaranteed a certain income. And yeah, it's tough. It's a business. These schools are in business. Yes, education is important, but at the end of the day, these schools are in business to make money, and they are selling their school to you. And I do think education is important. Don't get me wrong. And I do think that law school is a great path for so many people that may want to take it. But just try to try things out. Work in a law firm. Try to get a general idea of the things that you may and may not like, so that you can be sure that that path is a potentially good path for you. Are you going to be 110% sure it's the right path? No, that's not life. Life is about trying a lot of different things and trying to gauge what you like more, or what might be a good place for you. So Anyway, that's another road. See, notice I'm really good at talking. And you put me at a cocktail party and put a glass of wine in my hand, and I will talk, 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 talk. All right. Do I have any colleagues that have other kinds of post-degree graduates, like besides like a JD? And I have a MBA, so that's a master's in business administration. I have a master's in accounting, and I have a JD, Juris Doctorate. A lot of my colleagues through the years have also, they have had JDs, or they've been CPAs, or master's in taxation, like an MST. So I've worked with a lot of folks. I mean, generally, I don't know what it is you're looking to do in accounting, but I think it is like getting a little bit more competitive if you really want to work yourself, high up in, these big four firms. You're dealing with a lot of other people that are type A personalities that have advanced degrees. So let me just put it at that. So if your employer, if you want to utilize, a future employer's benefit to pay for your tuition to get another degree, I say go for it. It does get difficult to do school and do work and do life, but if somebody's paying for it for you, I mean, just do it. Suck it up, just do it. I think that's the best way to get those types of advanced degrees, is once you're working for an employer that's willing to give you some money towards it. Now, generally nowadays it's sort of minimal. Like back in the day, employers used to give you a lot more money towards getting a degree. Now a lot of employers like cap out at like $5,000 or $7,500 a year. But again, it's still something. It is still something, so it's worth taking it. Why not? Take their money. Work-life balance. Thank you for admiring my work-life balance, because the truth is that when you see these videos, you see such a limited slice of our life. And I want you guys to take this into consideration for all the videos you see. That slice that you see is just such a small snippet. I mean, you don't see the daily grind, okay? You just don't see the daily grind, and I wish that I could somehow capture more of that. The slices of video make it look a lot easier than it actually is. The truth is that work-life balance is so important, but it's so difficult. And for me, it's a constant battle. It's a constant fight, trying to manage it. And the same is true for Marit. It's not easy, and I don't have it down. I'm still learning. I'm still struggling. But, I think you just have to be conscious of the fact that, there's more to life than work. So you have to figure out how to try to fit in all of these things, because again, your profession does not define who you are and, what you are. It's a big part of you, but there's all these other things that surround that. So it's just continually learning and just trying to be present and mindful of, where you're at and where you want to go, where you want to be, who you want to be, how you want to live your life, and, just working at it. We'll end with this. Yeah. What do you wish you had known about work-life balance when you're just starting out in your career? I think for me, it was that your profession doesn't define who you are. I think I had such a strong notion for some reason that if I became an attorney and, got a fancy car, wore fancy clothes, that was who, I was going to be. Like, that was just, I don't know, that was just something important. And it's really not. It's not at all. I think that's one of these young things, young thoughts you have because you see like different people and you think, hey, I want to be them. And, look, that dude's driving a Benz, and that person's wearing Gucci, and oh, that person just went to Sweden. I don't know, just like all this crazy stuff. I'm like sort of talking about like hip hop glam life, but it's just, I think just take the time to enjoy life and don't try to get someplace faster than you need to. Try to just slow down and enjoy each step of the way, because the truth is that especially if you're young, you have a lot of time. You don't need to pressure yourself to move somewhere so fastly, right? So quickly. I can't even talk. You just slow down. Just slow down, take a breath, figure out what it is that you really want, you know, whether it be today, tomorrow, next week, next month, and just be mindful about the process. I was trying to get places too quickly, and I didn't need to. And frankly, you know, hey, everybody has a different track in life. So I think my goal now is just slowing down and trying to figure out, like, okay, these are the things that I want to do, and these are the things that I need to do, and how can I go about fitting them all into my life and creating a good work-life balance. And again, easier said than done. Deep thoughts, not sure if they make sense. Anyway, leave a comment below. Tell me what you thought of this video. Was it the least bit helpful to you? I feel like going down this path with some of these videos like this, where I'm just spitting it out. I'm just thinking and spitting it out and hoping that there are nuggets in there that may be helpful for you in your life. Rebecca, I hope that I helped you. Just even maybe helped you think about things that you weren't thinking about. I don't know. I like watching people sometimes talk about things because it stirs something in my brain, and I'm like, oh yeah, I never thought of that. But if it wasn't helpful, I don't know, maybe somebody else will find it helpful. And yeah, that's it. These videos are good because it's a little bit easier for me to edit, but I understand that you probably want to hear about other topics. So leave a comment below, any other topics that you might want us to talk about, whether it's just me, whether it's just Mart, whether it's the two of us together. Are there any topics that you want us to touch on this month? And we will try and deliver it to you. And hopefully it will be more cohesive than this particular bit that I just did.